I think there's a big battle over values going on at the moment in Europe. And it's not actually about a fight on different values, but it's actually about the interpretation of values that we all agree on, like freedom. For example, Marine Le Pen, she claimed after the Brexit vote in Great Britain and after the victory of Donald Trump in the US, she claimed that these were victories of freedom. And I think that most other parties from the political spectrum would freedom interpret in a completely different way, and I believe also most citizens. So I think there's a huge battle going on the interpretation of values, and the other parties have to make sure that they convince the citizens again on their interpretation of these values. And this is at least one core point or one core aspect for the upcoming campaigns in France, in the Netherlands, also in Germany, for the other parties to take into account, I guess. I think online tools offer a great opportunity for politicians to get in touch directly with citizens. I mean, this is really the advantage for politicians, that they can bypass traditional media and communicate to citizens directly. But I feel that politicians do not use it to the full extent or to their full advantage at this moment. A lot of politicians mainly use it as another PR channel, you know, to publish a press release just through a different channel. But I think this is not what people want when they looking at a profile of a politician on social media, like a Facebook page. I think they want some content that they cannot get from other channels, from other media. So I think it's important that politicians offer something personal, something authentic on social media channels. But I think there are also some downsides when it comes to social media communication. I mean, we have the big opportunity to target very small groups, very specific groups of society with social media. We can define very narrow target groups when it comes to social media communication. But this might also create, especially when it comes to campaigning, might create the idea that parties and politicians will deliver a very individual political program for me in the end. But this is not how democracy works. Democracy is about consensus and about finding a way between different opinions, finding a compromise for whole society, doing something for the common good. So we cannot serve all the individual needs of voters, and this is, I think, the danger. That is something that sometimes the impression is created via too much targeting on social media, that we can fulfill the very individual needs of every citizen through politics. Yes, I think social media platforms such as Facebook and Twitter do have a huge responsibility, and they do not have a different responsibility than other news organizations, for example, a TV station or a newspaper. Newspapers and TV stations, they are highly regulated. For example, in Germany we have the Landesmedienanstalten, and also in other European countries we have big regulatories for the media. So there's an oversight of what they're doing, and they have to, of course, obey the laws that are relevant in their countries. So the same has to apply for social media, because social media is a public space, and the platforms are offering a public space, a space for discussions, a space for media. Facebook is even proactively approaching media to publish more and more directly on their platform through instant articles. And with this approach, there comes also the responsibility to make sure that everything that is spread in terms of news and in terms of opinions is following the laws. And especially when it comes to hate speech, I think the social media platforms have to fulfill much more their responsibility than they do today. I think you're right. I mean, we also have to look at the users, and when it comes to voters, I mean, a person going to the ballots and casting his or her vote is not a Facebook user, is a voter. So the voter has to make sure that it does kind of approach and use the right sources to build his or her own opinion when it comes to an election and choose the right party. So I think there's huge responsibility with the citizen, with the consumer as well. We have to make sure as citizens that we not only look at a certain opinion at certain media, and on social media platforms there is a huge danger with the filter bubbles, that we only get the ideas and opinions that we actually already kind of have in our minds, and that only confirms what we already think, our attitudes, our ideas, our opinions, and so on. So we have to make sure as well that we kind of kind of implement a sort of pluralism when it comes to news consumption, and this responsibility does not lie with the kind of media organizations. It also lies with us, the citizens.